All right, so we're here with Ben Slater to talk to us a little bit about Scouts. The point of these videos is to really share with interested parents what Scouts is all about, Boy Scouts, and what it's like to interact with the organization and have your kids in there as well. So, welcome.
Well, thank you very much. I'm
Yeah.
glad to be here.
Awesome. Well, maybe you can just start by telling us your history with Scouts and how you got involved.
Sure. So as a youth up in Kalispell, my parents got me involved in scouting, I believe about the time I was a wolf or a second grader.
Okay.
And my uncle had been an Eagle Scout, and I worked that program all the way through Cub Scouts, earning an Arrow of Light, as well as all the way through Eagle Scout
Okay.
up in Kalispell. And then from there, it took a little bit of hiatus with a little military, a little bit of college, and some professional development until I started having kids myself.
Sure.
My son started in Cub Scouts again as a Tiger, and I started becoming much more involved as a leader when he became about a Weeblo, and have been working hard with him since. He's currently a scout with Troop 1909 here in Missoula and has just earned his second class rank. And my daughter, who's a couple of years younger, has also had the opportunity to start scouting this past year, thanks to the opening of the program to both boys and girls, all the way down to the earliest levels. And I've started as a leader with her group, and she is currently a Weeblo after earning her bear rank last year.
Awesome. So for people that don't know, could you describe the progression of Cub Scouts so that they know what all of that means?
Sure. So Cub Scouting opens up to our youth at kindergarten now. Kindergarten, they start at a program that we call Lions. And the Cub Scouting program actually is sort of modeled after Rudyard Kipling's A Jungle Book series. And so you have lions and tigers and bears as they kind of advance through the age groups. So with my daughter currently at a Weeblo level, then that puts her, I believe, in 5th grade this year. I got to ask her on that, but she's 9 going into 10.
Cool.
And it fits within that age level. Youth have the opportunity to stay in Cub Scouts, and with the general program, every school year they advance within one of these animal or rank systems until they get to be in their 5th grade year. They would transition from Cub Scouts into Scouts BSA. And at that point, then they would start with the scouting program, where they earn ranks Scout, Tenderfoot, Second Class, First Class, Star, Life, and Eagle. And each of those are requirement-based programs, and so they are less. They don't have anything to do with your age level or what grade you are in school. It's as you complete those requirements, you would advance in rank.
Sure, that makes sense. So you said that you completed all the way through Eagle. How did that impact your choices after you were finished with high school? Maybe what you did for work or military you mentioned?
Yes, so I actually served in the United States Marine Corps and enlisted outside of high school. Having earned the Eagle rank, it allowed me the opportunity to have an immediate promotion upon enlistment. So it was a couple extra bucks there. One of the nice things that the Scout program teaches or you develop is leadership based, which is exceptionally important in the military system, and it certainly helped give me a great toehold as I advanced a professional career. There's also, as I said, within the Scout program, instead of just advancing as you get older, you advance as you complete your requirements. And so just having that knowledge that I need to do things so that I can advance, it certainly helped as I promoted through my military ranks and ended 4 years as a sergeant, or an E5 for those folks who are actually in the military, and was fortunate enough to be able to be promoted to that rank under 3 years, which is a pretty tight turnaround for most fields. So after that, just having those experiences to be able to draw from certainly helped in professional life, both with college and I did some time in the private business world, certainly helped with communication skills, of course. I did some work with a local group here, sort of as a lobbyist or representative of them to the local government. And then currently I work for the city of Missoula, and just having those leadership and communication skills work for me every single day as I go off and do my job.
That's really awesome. So something that always interests me is the project that people do to become an Eagle. Tell us about yours.
Yeah, so mine was a little different at the time.
Okay.
I ended up being pretty involved in my church, and one of the things that it came up was about January, February of every year, the food bank up in our community would basically run out of food. There'd be a giant push starting about now in October through Thanksgiving and Christmas, as you're talking about making sure you have enough food for the holidays and make sure every table's got a turkey and all that stuff.
Right.
And the food bank would literally fill to bursting. But then all those donations would drop off and they would give away those food to needy families. And come late spring, before the growing season started, then the food banks would be empty.
Wow.
And so using that as the need, then I organized a food bank up at 4 different grocery stores up there in Kalispell, and in a single day raised a phenomenal poundage of food, like 12 or 1,800 pounds of food in a day, plus about a sizable amount of cash donations that went straight to the food bank.
Yeah, that sounds like a really awesome achievement to have at the end there. Yeah. Made a big impact, I'm sure.
It did.
So looking back, maybe on your younger years of Scouts, do you have any special memories or specific memories?
Yeah, so one of the things that really has stuck with me for a number of years is my parents and my family made a big push for me to be able to get to the National Jamboree in 1997. And that was held out at Fort A.P. Hill in Virginia. But it started with a couple of day tour around D.C., got to meet with our representatives and senators, with the Montana delegation, ended up being able to tour a lot of stuff around the Capitol, with museums around the mall, cool. A lot of the monuments that were over there, and then ended up doing the National Jamboree, which was a 10-day experience there at Fort A.P. Hill with some 36,000 scouts.
Wow.
It's like summer camp on steroids. It's just like the creme de la creme of scouting experiences. While we were there, we set a recognized world record of the longest fire bucket brigade, and I remember passing these 5-gallon buckets of water down this line that stretched forever, and I think it was about 18,000 scouts participated in that event.
Cool.
And it was a lot of fun, and I know that I've tried to instill that in both my children, and so we've kind of earmarked National Jamboree 2021 for Gabe and National Jamboree 2025 for Beth, and kind of so that we can be able to go and do those things.
That's great. When are they always in DC?
So a number of years ago, I believe the Scouts ended up receiving a donation of land that they've named Summit Summit Betchel Reserve in West Virginia, which is still just outside of DC, but it is a giant chunk of land that they've established as a world-class scouting facility. It was actually host this year to the World Scouting Jamboree, which they had a wonderful turnout for. And if you go online, I know that they did a nightly newscast that they've recorded. Cool. That you can be able to see all their events. So
yeah, that sounds really neat. So I know that we've been waiting to have you on the podcast for a few weeks now because you're working on selling popcorn. Tell us about that.
Oh, man. Yeah, so both of our kids sell a lot of popcorn. Popcorn for Scouts is the way that we are able to support ourselves. I know that 73% of every dollar sales goes back to scouting in general, but as a leader with both those groups, it means 2 different things. So at the PAC level, at the elementary school level, then all that money is cycled back to the PACs so that the PACs can pay for everything they need to do. So with Beth's group, That means that this year the pack is planning on going camping a couple of times. That'll be paid by the pack. They're going to go to the corn maze this weekend. That's going to be paid by the pack. They're going to go to a ski event. That's going to be paid by the pack. They get all these advancement patches and they get segments for all the activities they do. That's all paid for by the pack. Which means that cash out of hand for new families or scouts is your registration fee, which passes through to the National Organization for Insurances, which is great.
Right.
And then individual families support their scout by making sure they have a uniform.
Right.
And that's it. Everything else after that is paid for by the pack, which is a wonderful opportunity.
Awesome. Yeah, I think a lot of people look into it and think that it'll be an expensive venture, but that, if you work hard, sell some popcorn, and your pack is able to support you, which is really cool.
It is. And then at the older level, then the funding structure changes slightly, and the money is still collected by the organization or the troop, but it's just earmarked specifically for that scout.
Okay.
And so one of the things that in our family that we've stressed with Gabe is with Scout Jamboree coming in 2021, popcorn is the way that you can pay your entire way to be able to go there on your own. And so he has sold some extraordinary amount of popcorn here for the last couple of years to build his own bank account so he can pay his way.
Yeah, that's really neat. What's his favorite method? Door-to-door, Walmart?
His favorite method is finding those golden nuggets just out of the blue that are very fortunate to be able to support us with a very large sale. But yeah, door-to-door is how we sell a lot of popcorn.
Yeah, that's really neat. Do you think that people are generally receptive and excited about it?
You know, I like stats. Yeah. And so it's fun to be able to kind of track where we are. And with most years, it seems like about 60 or 70% of the homes that we knock on doors who have people there will end up making a donation of some type to scouting, whether it's just cash out of hand or whether they purchase popcorn themselves. So
yeah, that's really neat. So before girls could join and Beth joined in, what did scouting look like for your family? I know it's, a family organization and you can do a lot of things together.
Sure.
That's all right.
So what did it look like? So both my wife and Gabe's mom, Sarah, Sarah was a leader when Gabe first started as a Tiger. So when he was in first grade. And we have a lot of just family photos because we would travel to, they call them go-see-its. It's like a field trip with scouting, and we would go to the police department or the firehouse or to K-PAX. And here you would have Beth in all these photos anyways because, we're family. This is a fun event, and everybody's going to go together. And so before girls were involved in scouting, in Cub Scouting, then most of the time siblings would still be involved with scouting just because. And that's an interesting one too. Growing up in Kalispell, my scoutmaster, Randy Collins, had as a daughter, his only child was Kara Collins, a nice young gal. And one of the things that he said, I remember as a scout all the way through, is Kara may not be able to earn the rank of Eagle or be awarded, but by God, she's going to do everything that the scouts are going to do. And I've met, she was only a couple of years younger than me, and after my military experience coming back here to college, she was heavily involved with the marching band program here at the University of Montana, and she herself has become exceptionally she's an exceptional human. She's fantastic and she does great work. And I know that some of those values that scouting instills, especially through leadership, Randy obviously instilled within his own family and especially with his daughter.
Yeah, that's really neat. So what are your favorite things to do with your kids in Scouts?
That's a great question. Here I am. I prompted my kids, with this question. I didn't answer it myself. I really enjoy going to camping. Some of the best times that I had as a youth was at summer camps and being out on the water with the waterfront stuff. And so being able to go back to some of these camps with my kids so that they get to enjoy their own experiences at some of the places that I get to enjoy experiences is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a blast. So you mentioned that, you feel like you've learned some valuable skills throughout Scouts in your life. What are some things you've seen within your kiddos, even if Beth has just started not too long ago?
Well, Beth is certainly a take charge person.
Yeah.
And she's no nonsense. And when she puts her mind to it, then she definitely gets stuff done. Last year we did Klondike Derby, a district day camp in February in the snow. And she took charge as one of the older scouts in her group or rotation to be able to really run the show. And her group ended up winning a couple of positions, including like a snowshoe race and some other fun stuff.
Yeah, that sounds really neat. Well, for any listeners that are hearing the clinging in the background, it's because the kids are playing Connect 4, and I'm sure they're having a blast. So I think that maybe we'll bring in Gabe or Beth, see whoever is interested in going first, and see what they have to say. So thank you for answering these questions and sharing your knowledge with other parents who are listening.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.